Good evening, I'm Gil Bates, and this is Technium Tech News. This week at WWDC, Worldwide Developers Conference in Apple's headquarters, which ironically was done remotely due to the pandemic. They didn't want to invite anybody there to spread the COVID delight, so they did it online and streamed it live. It was a fantastic presentation. They presented a lot of information, much of which was repetitive. Shocking, right? So Apple released new information about updates to iOS, your phone operating system, the iPad OS, and Mac OS, which is now going to be called Big Sur. For the first time in 19 years, Apple has released an operating system that is now 11.0. It's no longer 10 point something or point other something for their naming scheme. They've gone to 11 finally. Apple, congratulations, you've learned to count to 11. Good job. So across all three platforms, you have changes to the messaging system, and you also have new icons. No, not new icons. These are new-ish icons. Basically, they just got a paint job. Apple likes pretty, and they made them prettier. Pretty's nice. So iOS also has a new widgets, which give you a quick reference to info on your home screen. You can choose what widgets you have on your home screen of your phone, and you can have whatever information you want to have quickly accessible on your home screen. A lot of home screen, a lot of widgets, a lot of information. New Apps Library organization keeps all these apps together in similar places, much like Android has done for a long time. But Apple's not catching up with Android. This is their thing. Yeah. So they also have a new call modification for your phone, which also crosses over into your iPad. So instead of monopolizing your whole entire phone or tablet screen saying that you have a call from so-and-so, it's now just a drop-down to let you know. It's more of a notification than a complete monopolization. There's an idea, Apple. Why don't you just tell us about your stuff instead of monopolize everything that has to do with your stuff? Give us a choice. iPad OS has new sidebars and pull downs, which allow for easier and faster functionality in switching between apps. That I can deal with. I have an iPod. That I can deal with because I do have an iPad Pro, and that is a function that I know I'll use. And you can now start handwriting on your iPad, and it will turn it into text. Pretty cool. I like it. All right. New search functions that work like the Spotlight function on Mac OS. If you're a Mac user and you utilize the Spotlight function, this will allow you to search anything on your computer at any time. That is actually pretty nice because if you have a file somewhere and it's like, I know I saved that somewhere, I don't know where it's at, but I know the name of it, call it up on Spotlight and it pulls it up and shows you right where it's at. Now there's going to be something similar to that on the iPad. Can't wait for that. I'm still trying to learn the file system on iPad. iPad OS also gets the same messaging features that are coming to the iPhone and to the Mac OS. More crossover. HomeKit is going to allow you to control your stuff here at home. Your lights, your temperature, your Mac, your stuff at home. HomeKit. Fancier icons. And what about Siri? Has Siri got smarter? Well, according to Apple, Siri is going to be smarter in the fact that it has 20 times more facts in its knowledge base than 3 years ago. Our little Siri's growing up. Maybe when I talk to her now, she'll actually do what I ask her. Maybe she'll even answer. That'd be great. Siri. Yeah. And here's something that I'm going to like about iPad OS and Mac OS. There is going to be a new indicator at the top of your screen that indicates when either your microphone or your video camera is recording. This is good because you never know when somebody's going to try spying on you. But due to the fact that I've been a Hackintosher for so many years, I can use PC hardware to make a Mac. Anything is hackable. So I'm not really sure how solid of a feature that's going to be. Mac OS is going to be called Big Sur this time. No more mountain names. We're going to talk about beaches, maybe? Maybe 11.1 will be Point Magoo. There's an idea, Apple. Give it a shot. Point Magoo, 11.1. I did it. Remember. It's going to have a floating dock, which I'm not really sure what that means, but it's going to have a translucent background, so it's going to be at the bottom and kind of just floating and see-through. Seems to be a recurring theme on the new operating system because the windows are also going to feel lighter, more spacious and airy, they say, and easier to read, as well as their pull-down menus. And their translucent, hold on. Translucent menu bar. It's medicine. It helps me talk. A lot of translucent, a lot of airiness. Thank you, Big Sur. Starting to see a trend here. A lot of prettiness happening across Apple. And the big news for Apple, getting away from Intel processors. No more Intel processors. We are going to an ARM-based system, which is a system on a chip. This means that everything on your motherboard is going to be put on one little tiny chip. It's going to be super energy efficient, super fast. And the reason I know this is because it's what's in my iPad Pro. And my iPad Pro can go faster than most laptops and desktops on the market. That's saying a lot. That's a big statement. But I'm here to tell you, it can. And now that it has so much functionality, I don't know if I'd want to do without my iPad ever again. ARM processors. Goodbye, Intel. You dragged your feet long enough, kept Apple down. They're done with you. They're doing their own thing now. And the beautiful thing about this is that Apple's going to have all their hardware in-house and all their software in-house. They're going to have complete autonomous control over everything. That's right. Tim Cook, the evil genius. Not. Anyway. On to other news. Video game market. The PS5 has been announced. Not released, announced. Holiday of 2020, you'll see both the PS5 and the Xbox Series X. The difference between these two announcements was that Sony failed to release any real juicy specs on the PS5. And I think that's because Microsoft did, and it gave them something to worry about. Yeah. Sony, get it together. Microsoft's looking good. But Sony did announce that they're going to have a new DualSense wireless controller, probably based off of a faster Bluetooth protocol than the previous PS4. It's going to have Pulse 3D headphones, a media remote. So what? Why are you using your PlayStation as a media box? To each his own. It's also going to have an HD camera. I'm really interested to see what they're going to do with the HD camera. I'm sure this is going to be a huge thing for PlayStation streamers. The camera appears to have two lenses in the picture, like right here. And not really sure what they're going to do with that. I'm guessing there might be another stab at augmented reality. We'll see. Xbox Series X, Microsoft also released their information on their new console. They were a little more generous, though. They said that they're using a custom 1 terabyte SSD. Super fast, probably based on NVMe storage. That's not fact, but it's looking like it. It's fast. They also have a quick resume feature, which allows you to jump between games. And during that process, you'll be able to go from one game to the other. When you jump from one game, it pauses the old one, goes to the new one. Then when you want to jump back, it pauses that one, it goes back to the old one right where you left off. Great function. I could get into that. Microsoft also revealed that the processor will be based on an AMD processor with the RDNA 2 technology. This is technology in the graphics section that is yet to be released in the PC market. This is probably going to be something we see in the new RX 6000 series graphics cards from AMD. But they're already talking about it on the Xbox Series X, so I'm kind of excited to see how that works out. But this is supposedly going to give us up to 120 frames a second, 4K gaming all day, with the ability to go 8K. Can't wait for that. Can you imagine that 8K on a 70-inch OLED TV playing Call of Duty? Wetness. Let's see here. The cool thing about the Xbox Series X, they actually busted this thing open and they showed us what's inside. There is a custom heat sink in here that helps keep this thing cool. That's sandwiched between the two pieces of the motherboard. That's pretty fantastic. Design-wise, as a PC builder, can totally see that. And it's also coming in holiday season of 2020 this year. No shock there. Most big console releases are. Ooh, and this just in. It appears Microsoft may be releasing a second console, more economically based, if you will, that's based around 1080p and 1440p gaming. This will drive the price down, and it will probably make for a much larger selling unit than the more expensive one. Nonetheless, I think they're both going to fly off the shelf. Things look real promising here in the Xbox series. And if you want to look further, you can probably find more on Twitter. That's where I found this info. More gaming news. Mixer has shut down. Microsoft's stab at the streaming platform with Mixer has completely come to an end this week. And it looks like our boy Ninja, the big famous Fortnite streamer, he's now in limbo. Not really sure. I haven't really been able to find any information on where he's going yet, but it looks like Facebook Gaming has bought out Mixer and all of its user base. So will Ninja be going back to Twitch, or will he go ahead and port over to Facebook Gaming? I personally wouldn't want to be Ninja at the level he is and give in to the Zuck. Huh? In other streaming news, Dr. Disrespect is no longer on Twitch. In fact, Dr. Disrespect seemed to have dropped off the face of the earth. Nobody knows where he's gone. Nobody knows why he was dismissed from Twitch, but he was. We don't know why, we don't know the reasoning behind it, but we can surmise that this may have a relation to a recent move to end sexual misconduct in the app service. But it's unconfirmed, okay? Dr. Disrespect was a bit dicey at times, but really? To kick him off? I mean, did he really do that bad? He was in the top 4 of all Twitch streamers on the entire platform. It must have been bad. Maybe he did something at a company party? To you, Doctor. Find your way back. Oh! And the yet-to-be-released Cyberpunk 2077. This game is supposed to be one of the games of the millennia, okay? And it's been put off and 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 put off. I sincerely believe this game is going to go down in infamy as the greatest game that never was. If it does finally make it to market, of course I'll buy it. I'll probably have to build a whole new computer. Oh, darn. But it's going to be a pretty kick-ass game. Let's see if it comes out. PC hardware news. Intel has released Comet Lake. Too little, too late, Intel. Nice try. Still PCI Express 3.0. It's not 4.0 like AMD. Only 10 cores and 20 threads on their top chip, as opposed to the 16 and 32 of AMD's on PCI Express 4.0. And it's yet again a new socket. Yay! Intel fanboys can buy another new motherboard for another new chip that still lags behind something far better. Good job, Intel. Not a fanboy, just stating fact. It just is what it is. Microsoft is also shutting down all of their brick and mortar stores. You will not be able to walk into a Microsoft store and buy a Surface product or any Microsoft products any longer. This is all going to shut down, and apparently there's only going to be 4 stores left in existence. 1 in New York, 1 in Sydney, 1 in London, and 1 in the Redmond, Washington campus. These will no longer be hardware-based product stores, but these will be experience centers. Yeah, I want to go experience Windows 10. Yeah. All right. So, on to the last bit of news. YouTube. I am loving YouTube. YouTube has turned out to be such an amazingly enigmatic and an intricate platform. This thing is just fantastic. I think this is going to be a really good move for Technium Tech. And we're going to continue to have Technium Tech news. I don't know if it'll be weekly. It may be the second video I put out every week. But in the meantime, I'm Gil Bates, and this has been Technium Tech News with This Week in Tech. We'll see you next time.